What is going on, guys, and welcome to the first pilot episode of G's Living It Up, where we talk about everything about Korea and Korean culture and just living abroad in Korea. We got our special guest today, Jeff, who is a tattooist stationed out here in Seoul, and we have an up-and-coming hip-hop artist, John. Say what's up, guys?
What's up? Yeah, what's up, everyone?
All right, so how long have you guys been in Korea?
I've been here for about 3 years now.
3 years?
Yeah, 3 years, yeah.
I'm like 4 pushing 5. Right
4 pushing 5. I'm about 3 pushing 4 too. Yeah. Then let me ask you this. So you guys been here for a good amount of time.
Yeah.
So it's been so a good amount of time, like enough to know how Korea works. How you've seen enough of Korea to understand, really understand it. What was the biggest cultural differences or just a cultural shock you had when you first started living in Korea versus America?
Where do you start?
Yeah, that's oh man. I don't know. I guess one of the first things that comes to mind was I remember cuz when we were growing up, if somebody's looking at you, keep staring at you, it's usually they're mad dogging you or something like that. So when people would always stare at me, I'm like, what's wrong with this guy? Does he have a problem?
Is he trying to pick a fight?
Yeah, that was the thing. But I didn't realize, that they're just looking at me because I dress differently. I'm
different from the original Korean style. Fashion works. Yeah,
a lot of Koreans here, even though your face is the same, I feel like the way you dress, the way you carry yourself, and just the overall aura is different between Korean Americans and Koreans.
That's true.
Yeah, definitely.
Koreans do have a better sense of fashion in a way.
Yeah, it's a lot more clean cut.
Yeah, it is. It is a lot clean.
Yeah.
I remember when John first moved, and just all of my friends back in California, whenever they come to visit here and stuff like that, the first thing I tell them, before catching up or whatever, I'm like, yo, if we're gonna go out and be about in Korea, I'm gonna warn you one thing. I'm like, the same cultural rules that apply back in America, it doesn't apply here. I'm like,
yeah, it really
if they look at you or whatever, usually back in America, if they kind of look at you and you don't nod or give any responses, it's automatically just what do you want? But here it's just. They're just intrigued that you're different. That's it.
Korea don't also have that small talk culture either. You know what?
No, they really
when you're in the bathroom, for men at least, for guys at least, if you're in the bathroom, you're in the urinal, and then all the spaces fill up, and a guy just goes next to you on the urinal.
Yeah.
You naturally meet eye contact, and you're just like, "What's up?"
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
and then they're like, "What's up?" I was like, how's your day going?" Especially if you're in the bar.
As
or
long
pub,
as you don't look down.
Yeah. But.
Oh, man.
I think for me, one of the biggest cultural shock was I was at a Korean restaurant, right? Yeah. It was like a legit Korean restaurant where you sit down on the mat floor. It's not a chair. You're sitting down with a little table in front of you. Brought all these panchans and stuff, side dishes. And I asked the server for a tissue, napkins, and then she brought out a roll of toilet paper.
Dude, I remember when I went to my first Korean friend's house, and I'm like, oh, you got napkins, and they brought out a roll of toilet paper. I'm like, the hell is that? I'm like, what the?
You grab it from the bathroom? I was like, it's clean. It's a normal clean toilet paper. But for some odd reason, I cannot get myself to use it because it's associated with the bathroom when you're wiping your butt, right?
Yo, wait, speaking of bathrooms, I don't know if this applies to all Koreans, but the majority of the ones I talk to, they wash their towels after every use.
Yeah.
Usually for me, it's you do a small check, once a week or whatever, maybe every couple days, you shower a couple times, all right, let's put this in the wash, but they wash their hands, put in the washer.
They use those small towels. You
Yeah.
can't even cover yourself with.
Yeah.
It's just those small towels.
It's what we refer to as hand towels.
Yeah, exactly. It's those small hand towels. You use that to wash your entire body, and then you throw in the basket.
Yeah.
And then you do laundry, and then you reuse it again.
Yeah.
While in America, we have that, the big freaking towels, and then we use it, and then we'll reuse it for an entire week.
Yeah.
And when you do laundry once a week, then that's when you will clean it.
The hand towels is just right next to the soap or just whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of soap, this also kind of blew my mind when I first came to Korea, especially during COVID. a lot of soaps, paper towels where you can wipe your hand with, they're all automatic in America, right?
Yeah.
You put your hand on the thing, and then the soap would dispense by itself.
Yeah.
In Korea, they had the hand wash, like legit hand wash.
Oh, like the bar soap?
the bar soap stuck onto a little pipe,
man.
and then you just
Dude,
rub it.
Like,
yeah.
I don't know about you. I when I first saw that, I literally went like this. I was just like, yo, pause.
Like a
But,
very lewd hand
how
motion.
else are you supposed to, if you go 2 hands, that's even worse, you know?
No,
But like how I just never understood how that made sense, especially during COVID.
Oh, because like the like the transmission, of, like,
but
disease
I mean
and all that.
that's a whole.
And especially like I went to like a couple like public bathrooms before here, and like bathrooms like, you know, relatively clean, you know.
Yeah.
But some of these bathrooms, they are kind of dirty, you know. But it's a bathroom, it's a public bathroom, and they would have that soap, and I would just stare at it while washing my hands. I'm like, I don't know if I want to use this, you know. It's like, come on. Speaking of bathrooms, one of the funniest things that I saw, because you know how like back in the day, like the old school bathrooms in Korea, they have that like hole in the ground thing.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. I was in Busan, and my friend had to use the bathroom really bad, right? He had to go number 2, and then he opens the door. He literally just walked out. Nope, I'm not doing that.
I still don't know how to use
I
those.
still don't know how to use it either.
Do you take your pants completely off when you do that?
Yeah, and then you have to do the squat motion.
Yeah.
You have to
I'm not
squat.
used. I'm just
So
like
you gotta
a chair.
have good leg
No,
muscles.
another thing that really bothers me about the bathroom. I don't know why we're on this topic, but another thing that really bothers me about Korean bathrooms is every stall don't have toilet paper sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you got-
that's
You
an
have
issue.
you have to
that's a
ask,
problem.
or there's only one like main toilet paper by in front of the entrance.
Oh, and you gotta
And then
take.
you gotta take, you gotta
yeah.
roll as much as you think you need, and then take it to the bathroom, do your
Yeah.
business, and then
You
you
don't-
use that.
yeah, but
and if you run out, you're out of luck.
Yeah.
You don't know if you're about to like destroy that toilet
Yeah.
or not.
Yeah.
Bro, but the one thing I will say, Korean bathrooms, you know how like American bathrooms, like the stall, the underneath, and like there's that huge gap.
Yeah,
where,
yeah.
Like someone can literally crawl under.
Yeah,
They don't have that
yeah.
in Korea.
No, they don't. Which I'm kind of thankful for, but
Yeah. Wait, so how did you start? Like what gave you kind of like the initial kickstart for you to like move to Korea? Like, because everyone's story is different.
yeah, everyone's story is
Yeah.
different. But my biggest issue, my biggest reason was I was in the military, U.S. military, and I was in one place, which was Virginia, for like all my life. Ever since I moved to America, I mean, I was in New York, then I moved down to New Jersey, Maryland, and then Virginia. But that's where all I stayed. And every time I ask my friends, "Hey, do you ever plan to, you know, live somewhere else or like move to another country?" One of my best friends back at home, he says, "Nope, I'm gonna raise my kids. I'm gonna die here." And I don't know. To me, that sounded so depressing. Like that to have your entire life based on just one area for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And then once I joined the military and I was able to move to like different states, different country, I was in Okinawa. And then I came to Korea a couple times for training, and realizing I don't know like jack about Korea, and I'm Korean, like made me kind of realize like what am I? Am I American? Am I Korean? So as soon as I got discharged from the military, I literally packed my bag, 2 suitcases, all my belongings, and I got on the flight and it came to Korea. That's it. Because I just didn't want to stay at one place anymore. Like I didn't want to be rooted down to an area for the rest of my life without experiencing other countries. That's why I moved. What about you guys?
John?
For me, it was like, you know, I was in California doing like music and stuff like that, and in Korea, like I had like a little, you know, this opportunity, you know, to do like Show Me the Money. For those guys don't know what Show Me the Money is, like a rap, you know, competition kind of show. But when I first came here, you know, like I had the opportunity to do that. I met like pretty cool people from like different like, you know, labels, companies and stuff, and they're really digging me. So I was like, you know what, maybe, you know, I should give this a chance. And ever since that, like, you know, I met more and more people, different producers, other artists, you know, different companies, and, you know, it just started to like, you know, exceed. And it was just like yeah, it was just like a really cool time and like also meeting all these different connections. So I was like, oh, this is actually cool. And like you said too, like leaving America, and exploring different countries, especially being Korean and like learning your roots, the culture and all that. It was like really fascinating to see. And it really does open your eyes to the rest of the world that, America's not the only country in the whole world, Yeah. So, yeah.
I feel like once you get out of like, especially for Korean Americans, because from what I know, like the most amount of Koreans that aren't in Korea are overseas in America, and like California, like Los Angeles being like, predominantly the heaviest population of Korean. Hub. But like, given that, I feel like once you kind of like go outside that bubble, because like, in America, there's still like with the Asian American community, like it's so tight knit with Asia.
Yeah.
And like, once you actually go and like live in Asia and like just kind of broaden your horizons and not just like go there for vacation, see the family and stuff like that, but once you actually go there, you meet so many different kinds of people, and like
you really
like
do.
you like even in Korea, like right now, like there's like the huge like kind of thing is like there's lots of foreign exchange students.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
definitely.
lots of expats being like English teachers that come from like usually a native English speaking country
Or
but,
ex-military that
Yeah,
decided to
yeah.
move to Korea and live here
yeah,
permanently.
and like once you really get to know and talk to them, it's like, whoa, like everyone is like the people that, especially from like America that you meet overseas, you realize that more and more like it takes a certain kind of breed of person to be able to just drop everything back that you were just kind of taught in America, like the American dream. You gotta get a house, get married, start a family, 401k.
Yeah.
But it's like once you kind of like go outside of that, and then like, because the American dream isn't for everyone, like in my opinion, like if it's not, like a lot of the Asian Americans or whatever, usually you see them going back to their roots, back in their native country,
Especially after they retire.
and like seeing that and experiencing that now, I feel like right now, like there's like this big paradigm shift where it's like, even though you grew up in America and you're culturally American, you still have this cultural identity of, your roots as being whatever Asian you're from.
Yeah.
And when you go back, you have this like identity crisis because in America, you're not American. In Asia, you're not one of them either. So there's this like discrimination both ways. But once you come here, it's kind of like, I feel like even though you grew up in America and that's home to you, like I feel like when I first came here, at least when I went to really come visit by myself, it felt like a part of me that I needed. And it was like a home away from home, but it felt more like home than home.
Yeah.
Because I feel like once you go out there and like explore the world, there's what, like 7-8 billion people on the planet.
Yeah.
Meaning there's 7-8 billion different perspectives that you're experiencing life. That person is experiencing life, and who knows, like the one that you are experiencing in America might not be right for you, but the one how you're treated here, just strictly because of who you are, you can get treated or like experience life in a whole different context, just being in your mother country or just whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it was also hard though. Like we said, if you're in America, you're not American.
Yeah.
And if I'm in Korea, I'm not Korean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
that
honestly, but that is the hardest thing to overcome though.
it really is.
Yeah.
You can't. I've never been able to self-identify who I really was until like I accepted that I can't be either or. But
You're a hybrid of both.
I'm a hybrid of both.
Yeah.
And until I realized that I can honestly just pick and choose when to be American and when to be Korean, it's kind of when I became a little bit happier, I guess.
Yeah.
Like it sucked that I couldn't be either or. I could never fully identify myself.
You always felt like you had to identify with either or.
Either or. Like even in America, I was like, oh, what are you? I'm American. It's like, no. What are you? You know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm Korean.
Oh,
like,
let me ask you this. How do you, because I don't know, like, because the last time I went back and what I've been kind of noticing as a trend now is because, like, Asian Americans specifically, lately they try to go back to their roots.
Majority of it.
A majority of them.
Yeah,
so, like, they want to learn their heritage, they want to learn their mother tongue, and like, all this kind of stuff. But us being out here in, like, the mainland, you kind of see the reverse where like
Koreans
Koreans
want to know more about
the American
Yeah,
culture
or
and stuff like that.
or
And
European culture.
yeah, and like with that, like some of the Koreans, because you know whether they grew up in international school or just whatever, you notice them kind of like they speak English, but it's not like native. It's kind of like the most you can get from studying abroad, because obviously the way that like a native, like someone that grew up in America versus you grew up in international, you guys speak English, but you guys speak differently. Depending on the environment.
Basically, the easiest term is like street English. Like,
street or whatever, but like there's certain lingo,
English,
but like
because the
like,
way we speak English is terrible English.
yeah, so like how do you feel about like the Koreans lately, because they know how to speak English, and some of them I've even seen like trying to front like they're Kilpos, like that they grew up overseas, they don't speak Korean. I'm like, no.
But they pretend to be Kilpos.
Yeah.
Korean
So
Americans,
how do you feel about that, or how do you guys feel about
honestly,
that? Honestly,
I don't care. But if they start trash talking and start like trying to pick a fight with me and pretending to speak good English, while using curse words or whatever, and then try to step up using words that using the N word because they learned it. They see it in movies and music.
Wait, hold on.
Then that's when
Hold on. Okay, John, I'll go.
And also too, the rising of hip hop culture and all that kind of
Korea?
stuff. Yeah, it's
just
just like a big
prevalent
rise.
everywhere now.
Like it's cool, you can get influenced by that, and all that kind of stuff. But the thing I also have problems is like when I see like Koreans, in Korea, born and raised here, when they start throwing out like certain gang signs and stuff like that don't know anything about it, and then they're from it, it's like, what?
And it's talking about like sipping lean, like popping pills, and stuff like that. Like, but they don't know anything about that life.
I remember there's a lot of Korean rappers. I'm like I don't remember the names or like the songs or whatever.
Yeah.
But they always reference guns and like just slanging and just all this. I'm just like, bro, like
guns are illegal in Korea.
Yeah, guns are illegal in Korea. You're not gonna roll up on no one. You ain't gonna like. There's no like sets and like stuff. I'm like, dude, bro, like why front? Like why front?
That kind of like brings me into this next topic, this next question that I kind of want to like go forward with. It's like, what is one advice you would give to foreigners if they ever choose to live in Korea or study abroad here? That right there. If a Korean, like a Korean started a fight with you, like started talking like mad trash and like started like purposely shoulder checks you, whatever, right? Do not engage yourself. If you are a foreigner,
absolutely do not.
If you are a foreigner, do not engage in that. Just say your piece. Yeah. Just say your piece and walk away. That is the absolute best advice I can give for you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Oh God.
Right,
you especially. Oh my God. Like
especially like in Itaewon or Hongdae or like where
the
those
heavily
like
foreigner like the foot traffic.
Foot traffic. Like you will have like Korean like those F boys, like just walking around trying to pick fights with foreigners.
Yeah.
Just because they know they can get away with it, one, and two, get as much money out of them as possible.
Oh my God.
And also too, three, like if you do pick a fight with them, get in trouble with the police, then you're gonna probably get kicked out of the country.
Yeah,
exactly.
But in Korea, it's like all they do, like they will like, okay, this is one biggest advice for anyone that comes to visit here or whenever, and especially if you're going out trying to like party or whatever. Do not engage with the Koreans that try to start shit. Like for real, like what they'll do is they'll bark all day. Yeah. And then the second, you don't even got to hit them. You don't got to send them nothing. You push them like lightly to get them to back up off of you.
They'll
call the cops, but oh no, he like violated me.
Yeah. They'll put on the Hollywood acting,
I'm like, bro, and they're like, oh,
they'll like exaggerate it too, saying
like, bro,
they did more.
But again, but if I had to give one advice, like legit just one advice to foreigners, Korean Americans, Korean Canadians that are coming to live in Korea or just study abroad, is do not engage.
Yeah.
Basically whatever country or whatever culture that like cultural appropriations or whatever the hell like you go by in your country does not apply.
Yeah.
Or anywhere else in the world.
Yeah.
None of that applies.
It's like you're in Korea, you're playing by their rules, their culture. So, even if you don't agree with it,
take it
like,
for what it is.
Yeah.
I have a question for since moving to Korea, because you guys remember how you guys were when you first came, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like for the most part. And then
Yeah.
since being here and just kind of experiencing the culture and life here, have you seen like a dramatic change in personality or like just beliefs or the way you act or like anything?
Yes.
Yeah, very much.
Well,
Definitely.
Well, what stands out to you the most, or like what were some of like the most significant in your opinion?
I don't know. I feel like for me, it was like, coming from America, again, I had like I kind of had like a little hothead. I thought I was like, oh, like, I'm like this dude, like, I don't give, I don't care, I could do whatever I want, and all that kind of stuff. But while living out here and learning more of the culture and everything like that, I feel like kind of humbled me more and opened my eyes like to like a whole new side of the world, and part of me too that I never thought I was going to discover, unless if I moved out here. So
my biggest one was a sense of self-awareness that living in Korea and living in America, right? The history that I learned about my own country in America is completely different from the history that I will learn about my own country in Korea.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
Like they may censor some stuff, or they might not even tell some stuff because is American history teaching American history, and then Korea is just the
only thing we learn is like the Cold War.
Yeah, exactly, a Korean War, whatever.
The Korean War, that happened.
Learning my own history in Korea really made me self-aware of why I'm Korean, of how I should present myself as a Korean.
Oh, like kind of how you should conduct yourself.
Given my history, I should be more proud. I should be more, like, I don't want to say like prideful, like patriotic,
like Korean pride.
Yeah, but you know what I mean, But
it does kind of give you that sense, though.
Yeah, because when I first came here, I was like, America #1.
I mean, in the same way, like I remember growing up, my parents or like my grandparents, they'll be like, "Oh, Korea #1,"
Yeah.
like oh, 대한민국, we have best everything,
My dad's the same.
And like, you know what I mean? But it's like
최고야.
once you kind of like from both paradigms, like once you kind of like shatter that, and you just experience the reality for what it is. I feel like it really changes you.
It really does changes you.
One of the values that I still hold, like even after coming here and living here for so long, when it's Asia in general is a cultural that's predominantly based on respect for the elderly.
Yeah.
That is
like the one value that I feel like I still hold, no matter how much, like even through the test of time, is respect is earned and not given. So it's like just because you're older than me. And like one of the biggest kind of breakthroughs that I had was like, especially with my parents, like, is the people that are older than me, they're just as human as I am. They're struggling just as hard as I am.
That is absolutely true.
Yeah, and they're just as human as I am. So it's like they're prone to make the exact same mistakes. They're prone to being in an off mood and And like once I realized that everyone that's older than me, they're just as human as I am. And like, even at this age, I remember like, when I was like a little kid, like, oh shoot, like you pushing 30, you old, nah.
Yeah.
Like you must have life figured out. You're almost dead, and like
almost dead at 30.
Almost dead.
But this is what I have to say about that. I 100% agree. Respect should be earned and not given.
Yeah,
right?
Most definitely.
Like you could be old, and you could still be a shitty person.
Yeah.
But being in I can't say anything about like other Asian countries.
Yeah.
But in Korea, that is one of the biggest things that changed my perspective. Like respect should be given or earned, not given, right?
Yeah.
But in Korea, because Korea was such a fast, like really fast developed country.
Yeah.
Like it was literally like almost like only like 60 years before like Korean War.
Yeah.
Which means everyone that was born during the Korean War is still alive today.
Oh yeah.
And then especially during when like Japan took over Korea, all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
they're still alive today, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because of that, like, I understand, like, if they're only like 5, 6 years older, yeah, of course.
Like
respect,
if, yeah.
the respect should be
Yeah,
earned,
yeah.
not given.
Yeah, but if it's like the ones who have actually gone through
like,
you know what I
all
mean?
those, yeah.
But it's like knowing that like their respect is already earned because it's like we wouldn't be like our parents wouldn't have had the opportunities to take us and migrate us to America and give us the life that we had. But it's like the ones that are like
they're only
still,
like 2 years older and they're like
oh yeah, you gotta call me young.
Yeah,
like you're a year older than me and like. Or like we would have went to high school together.
Yeah,
like,
you
you're
literally
gonna hold this like seniority. Like you gotta respect me because I'm like, dude, a year. Like you learn how to like shit in a diaper after a year.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I
like,
feel
Like
that.
why aren't you pouring my drink? You know?
I'm just like when because there's a difference between respect versus you abuse your status.
Yeah, that exactly.
Like that I don't like and because I've had times where there's these like super conde. Conde is basically like for those who don't know,
like very old school,
like old school, kind of like the equivalent to boomers and like all that in Korea. But it's boomers. But it comes with a certain stigma that it's traditional, but not in a good way. You're traditional selectively, and like it's kind of like anything that brings you more respect or attention or whatever. Like it's like if you're super conde about a certain thing, it's like. All right, if you're gonna be that all the way. Like if we're gonna do that, like you can't be selectively conde.
No,
all right, if we're gonna be conde here, then it's like, all right, I'll pour you drinks if you pay for everything.
Yes,
like
Yes.
you can't do that. You can't make him be like your little servant and then just be like, oh no, you got paid too.
Or,
you know what I mean?
or
like,
let's go half and half. You know,
yeah, because like
condes,
essentially their mindset was the older has to take care of the younger, right?
Exactly,
And then
but,
they said,
the youngest will make sure everything's taken. Everything's taken
like
care of,
like
you know?
the initial financial, the responsibility aspect, the eldest takes care of. So like with whether it's your older brother or your dad or whatever, they take care of that. And then in return, you show them the respect and manners.
Yeah.
And the youngest usually are the ones to set the table, pour the drinks, and like yada yada yada. But it's like in return, the oldest takes care of the youngest, whether it's teaching them life lessons or like paying for the bill or like whatever. So it's like if you're gonna go conde, be all the way.
Don't pick and choose.
Like don't half-ass it. Like no, like it don't work. That
And
like,
also too, like
앞뒤가 안 맞아.
Yeah.
And also too, like when like respect is given kind of thing. Like I know like a lot of like older people that are older than me, and I still that we're friends. I still call them by like their names and all that because I still don't think that that they're like a young or whatever, which means like older brother kind of thing, which is like a respectful way to say it.
Like
so,
OG.
Yeah, pretty much. And then even when I met you for the first time, I always just like called you Chris. I was just like, hey, what's up, Chris? And then like later on as we got to know each other and then, and I was like, oh no, he definitely deserves that like respect card from me, personally. Cause I was like, oh no, he is the young, looking out for me and all that kind of stuff. And then, and that goes for like a lot of other people too that I met out here, I'm just like, oh no, dude, like he's like looking out, he's a good young, like he deserves the respect. Cause like he really did show me, and without having that like, conde set of mine, like when I first met people, they're like, "Oh no, you have to call me Hwang." At that point, I'm like, "What?"
Can I?
No.
I feel like can I share this because I feel like in this perspective, like the term Hwang, like Hwang specifically, not oppa, duna, onni, all that kind of stuff, but Hwang specifically when it applies to guys, and guys that are Korean American, because in Korean, it literally just means older brother. So anyone that's older than you, that's a male, and you are also a male, you refer to them as Hwang. But I feel like with Korean Americans, like a Hwang is almost like it's like a term of endearment and respect.
It really is.
So like, because
really
normally
is.
you really like anyone else that's older than you, younger than you, whatever. Like you just call them by their name. Like in America, you just, oh, my name's Jason. Oh yeah, what's up? Nice to meet you. But like, if you decide to take it upon yourself to call them Hwang, whether they're a year older than you or like 20 years older than you, whatever, but it's because they've shown why, like either they've like enlightened you or like shed some knowledge on you and like whatever. Like I feel like with Korean Americans, you give that title Hwang as a sign of respect, saying like, you are someone that I hold close to me as an older brother that I learn from.
Yeah.
versus just because you're older, I call you that.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
definitely.
So it's like,
but do you know what's funny? Like sometimes I would just say Hwang to certain people if I met them.
Yeah.
And I completely forgot their names, but I knew they're older. And I just don't want to seem rude, so I'm just like,
I've done that
what's
so
up,
much.
you know?
But doesn't it?
It's so bad. But I've
You
done
call
that
them
a
young
lot,
because you
too.
don't know them. You don't know their name.
It's kind of the opt out.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like, you know, there's that meme where it's like you're on a date with someone and then you forget the name, so you take them to Starbucks. You're ordering it's the exact same way. It's a cop out until you introduce them to someone and someone else calls them by the name and you go like, oh, that's what it was.
Yeah, there's so many times where I had to just say like, oh, Hwang, until like
forgot their name.
until finally someone
Like-
called their name. I'm like, that was his name.
Dude,
but since I already called him
there-
Hwang, I'm already in this hole.
There's
so-
times where I feel like between us, there's certain people where like if we just go like, oh, you know that one Hwang? They're like, which one? You're like, oh, the one with like the tattoo on his face, or like the one with the crazy hair. And like, oh, that one. You're like, know his name? I'm like, no, I don't know his name.
But speaking of like going clubs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you think the nightlife of Korea like changed drastically
Because
before the pandemic versus like after the pandemic?
Oh, definitely.
Definitely. I don't know actually, because like I don't know, I go clubbing a lot, you know.
Yeah.
And like I've been out like before the pandemic too, and then after the pandemic. I mean, I guess kind of still in it. I guess
I
It's
guess
like-
we're
it's like
living
nearing the
yeah,
end.
we're
Yeah,
living
nearing
with.
the
It's
end.
I mean, there's
living
another
COVID.
one, another variant that came
Yeah.
out, but I don't
Yeah.
think people really
Like,
care
yeah.
about.
Now
it
it's to the
anymore.
point,
it's
like-
just, they want to be free.
Yeah, all the
Yeah.
testing
Yeah.
centers and all that, it's all gone.
Yeah.
now. They're
But,
just,
yeah.
like they give you Tylenol.
But
Yeah.
honestly, right now, like the clubbing scene is literally like pretty much exactly how it was before
Before
the pandemic.
COVID.
Before
Yeah.
COVID, but, like-
people are going crazy these
But
days.
do you think it's because like during the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
Those clubs and all like those places were all shut down because they can't operate.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
and so they will only go to like bars and pubs because
Yeah.
during the
Oh, 'cause
pandemic, right?
you can't like
yeah.
go out.
Yeah,
wild,
You can't,
like,
yeah, you
buck
can't wild
wild.
out. You can't go dancing because you can't be in a
Yeah.
group of more than
Like,
four.
Yeah.
You still gotta wear a mask inside, like you know.
Yeah, I feel like
But-
now it's like everyone's just like letting loose, you know? 'Cause
Yeah.
they had
Yeah.
to deal with that for so long, and now they're like, oh, we can finally,
Yeah.
have fun.
So now
again.
it's the clubbing. Like,
yeah.
Scene
Yeah.
right now.
Like,
That's why.
right,
Yeah.
Because if you really think about it, like right now is like what 2020, like almost like
We're halfway
halfway
to, like,
through
2020.
2023, and
Well,
COVID
2022.
first came in like 2019, but like I would say it became like rampant around like 2020,
In
2021.
March. Yeah.
But
yeah,
like
those were the dark
think
days.
of like, so the drinking age in Korea, or like the legal age in Korea, is 19 international and then 20 in Korea.
Yeah.
So during that time, Korea was on lockdown. Everything was closing at like 9 o'clock. Like
That was the worst.
that was so bad.
It was
like,
it was good and bad though, but yeah.
good and bad. But if you were
Yeah.
working at an industry, that was
Yeah,
bad for you.
it
But like
was.
now that everything is just kind of open again, all the people during like basically those 3 years, because COVID's almost 3 years old. Like
Yeah.
those 3 years, like the kids that just became like adults,
Yeah.
quote unquote, like they never got that experience of like, oh, let's go out to a club, let's go out, you know. So like
Yeah.
I think
They-
now that everything's
yeah.
open again, they're all just kind of going,
Yeah,
like,
just going
going crazy.
crazy.
Yeah,
Because
they're
they're
going
probably
buck
just
wild on
like
that
drinking
now.
beers or sodas by
Yeah.
themselves,
yeah,
or maybe
it
like
used to
two
be
other
just
friends,
drinking,
you know?
like, oh, my older brother snuck me a beer in high school, and now it's just like, oh, I can buy Jaeger
Yeah.
bombs, and like, no.
But then like those I feel bad for those kids.
Yeah.
The ones that
Yeah.
just turned 20 like in 2000, 2001 and 2000 like early 2022.
The
Like
first like 2 years,
Yeah,
of
like-
like adulthood was kind of stripped away from them.
yeah, it basically it was. It really was.
Yeah, it's pretty
I do feel
sad.
bad for
Ooh.
them.
Wait, hold on. So the nightlife in America, like I don't know if you guys used to go out when you guys were in America, but
Oh,
like
yeah.
after coming here, would you guys say that you guys started to like not in a sense appreciate alcohol, but you guys started to go out a lot more as opposed to when you were in America?
In Korea?
Yeah,
Oh,
in Korea.
I drink so much more in Korea than
Yeah,
I
me
did
too.
ever in America.
Yeah, same.
In America, I mean, like, I don't know about the West Coast, but in the East Coast, like, bars will close around 2:30.
Oh, that's
yeah,
about the
yeah,
same.
yeah,
That's about the
same
same.
with
Last call will be
Yeah,
around
yeah.
1:30, 1, and then the bar will
Yeah.
close 2:30. And then you can't even buy beer at a convenience store at past midnight.
Yeah.
And then the
Damn,
liquor,
midnight.
yeah. And the liquor store will be closed by 9 p.m. You can drink from X time to Y time, you know? But in Korea, where It's legit. Just 24
Yeah.
hours. It's 24 hours. Like
Taco Bell sells beer here.
That's
my
insane.
God,
That's
yes.
nuts.
Yeah, they sell Coronas at Taco Bell.
Yo, but I feel like especially because there's a lot of American military here, right?
Yeah.
And, like
Oh,
the
yeah,
drinking
yeah,
culture
yeah.
in America, there's a cutoff. Like
there really is.
yeah, you're cut off at a
Yeah.
certain time. So like the thing that I notice is, and actually this is something I had to adjust to while I was in Korea. But like, I wasn't like a heavy drinker back in America or anything. But like, because I knew that a cutoff existed, there was a curfew for that.
Yeah.
You would just go as hard as you can until that time.
Yep.
So that a lot of like American military are just people that grew up in a place where there was a curfew for alcohol.
Yeah.
Like they just go.
Oh yeah, they
like,
drink.
They
really
go
fast.
ham.
That
And then
was,
they just get like drunk way too
They get
quickly. They're
so
so puking on the
yeah.
street and shit. And like from there, like after coming to Korea, when you learn that no, there's no cutoff.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can
it's
drink as
insane.
long
No,
as you
pace
want.
yourself.
Yeah, pace yourself.
Yeah.
Like
That
it's
was-
not about like
yeah.
who can drink the most. Yeah,
Bro, you got literally all day.
infinite time.
All
Infinite
day.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't even go like if you want to like chill for a little bit and then bring your buzz back up, you can literally go to the like convenience store and buy a bottle of soju.
Oh
Yeah.
And then you can
yeah.
chug it and then get the same buzz back. Like
And yeah, and also you can also go into the convenience store. You can get a beer or a soju, and you can just like drink it like just on the street.
in the
You
street
know,
because we
Yeah,
have
yeah,
open,
'cause there's no-
open,
yeah,
yeah.
open
you know,
open
just,
containers.
just be responsible.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can still drink that. Just be like chilling. Yeah, honestly, with soju, it's not like a drink to get like lit. It's like kind of like a drink to enjoy with food.
Yeah,
Like,
really
it's-
is.
Yeah,
Really
that's
is.
what I
drinking
learned
culture
ever since coming
associated
here.
with soju. I feel like it's really just like you eat, but also it's like it goes into in-depth like if you want to
Yeah.
really have a sit down with someone and you're not trying to like turn up and like pop bottles and like take shots and all
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Like you just want to have a sit down, chill night, like decompress or whatever. That's what soju is.
That really is what soju is. Like a lot of foreigners will come in, get a bottle of soju, chug it before they go bar hopping,
And then they-
they
I'm
get
like,
blacked
yeah.
out
So-
and just
so-
get
Yeah,
sloppy.
mixing soju with other
Soju.
alcohol is like a bad fuck.
And
like,
they
it's
just-
a bad
soju's
night. It's a
a
bad night.
creeper
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, it'll get
that
you later.
hits so late. Like you drink, like you'll be fine. You'll be like, man, this ain't nothing. Like you be taking shots, just throwing them back, and then like 30. You don't know. You never know until you
You
stand
really-
up.
yeah.
And-
You stand up, go take a piss. On the walk to the bathroom, it's boom. And you're just like, oh.
If you really want the true Korean experience, you gotta just drink the normal soju.
I feel like that's over some time. Like I feel like you know how like the kids in the 20s, like early 20s, like you drinking the gin and tonics, you drinking the Jack Cokes, you
Yeah.
drinking the Long Islands, the Sex on the Beaches. Then eventually, once you get past all that, it evolves into like the Negronis, the whiskey sours, like all like the kind of like higher end shit.
Just like have
And like
whiskey
in
on
like the
meat.
same way with soju, it's like, yeah, you want something that goes down the easiest, right? But like once you live in Korea for a little bit, you're a working like adult, like you need something that like properly.
Yeah.
You don't want no grape flavor, whatever.
Yeah,
to
and
take
especially
the
if you
edge
have
off,
like Korean friends, they're gonna be like, "No, we're not drinking that.
Like,
we are gonna drink
I-
normal soju."
None of my Korean friends
none.
ever wanted to be like, hey, you want to drink a grapefruit flavor soju or like
Go to any given like pucha in Korea, and you like fuck around and ask for like grape flavor soju. They look at you like,
I don't even think they would have it.
They
yeah,
don't.
A lot of
Like,
places
take
don't
your ass
have
to
it.
7-Eleven, bro. What the
if you
hell
want to
is
know,
that?
like, if you want to know how Korean you became while as a foreigner or Korean American or Korean, whatever, right, in Korea, if you're drinking flavor soju, right, by the time you leave Korea, you end up drinking red cap, the red cap
Red
soju.
cap soju, bro.
That's when you know
Oh my god.
you became.
If you know, you know. If you know, you know.
If you drink the red cap soju,
Oh, you going
Like,
through life.
yeah,
Yeah.
you became Korean.
Yeah,
you
you
are
fully marinated.
officially
you going
Korean.
through life.
You marinated in Korea.
All right, you know what? We're coming towards the end of our podcast.
Oh, damn.
Yeah,
Not
it's
bad.
already it's already been like an hour and a half already.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shit.
So with the final, like, since we're coming to the end and we cover almost a lot of topics, right?
Yeah.
Let's go over one thing, just this one thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Each one of us. If a foreigner or a Korean, like Kyopo, Korean American, Korean whatever, Korean Canadian,
Yeah.
were to not do one thing in Korea, like if there was one advice to them,
or maybe what to do and what not to do.
no, just not to do.
Not to do.
Because
Not to
they can do whatever they want. But if you had to give them something that for them not to do, like so they don't get in trouble or like like get crossed up in some bad stuff. And there was one thing you can like give them, right, an advice of them not to do. What would it be?
I know a good one.
Wait, hold on. Can I go first?
Yeah,
This is
of
one
course.
that I have in the chamber right now. But like, if you're a foreigner or you are a Korean American, regardless, if you come to Korea or move to Korea with the romanticized vision of what it's kind of like portrayed to be, get rid of that. Like the reality versus what's portrayed in the media. Just like with anything, it's always so different.
That is something I 100%
like
agree.
whether it's with the intention of relationships, whatever you saw in K-pop, K-dramas,
Korea is not like any K-drama.
Like, do not come with expectations of that because the reality of that is so different, and like that that's a whole different topic I can ramble on about.
Yeah.
Like,
we'll leave that for the next.
I would say that just come with an open mind, take it for what it is.
Yeah.
Do not romanticize anything because anything in this world, like there's obviously gonna be pros and cons to anything. So with Korea, it's the same. So just come with an open mind, take it for what it is, and that's what I would say.
What about you, John?
I would just say like every country has their own different laws about certain situations and stuff, and Korea is one of those countries that is a very, very like no drugs, no anything like that on that kind of line. So like even if you're trying to come to Korea, don't try to sneak anything in. Don't try to do anything here. It's just enjoy the nightlife. Just
we
have
need a
fun.
lot of context on that because
just have fun out here. Just enjoy the nightlife. Have fun with your drinks. Have fun with the food, the people that you meet. Don't try to just be like good out here. Because Korea has zero tolerance for that, and they will not, they will not deal with you with that.
But these are all like great advice. Like the viewers, I hope you guys actually really took in some of the stories and advice. I guess do we call them advice?
Advice,
just like our life lessons.
It's just what we experience.
Yeah, what we experienced too hard and like take it as it is. But thank you so much for watching, tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed today's podcast. If you guys have any questions or concerns, leave a comment down below and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. All right, thank you guys so much. Have a great day. I'll see you guys in the next video.
Peace.
Peace.